encourage your soul, enlighten your mind, and empower your faith. This is the Light Network. Hello and welcome to Preachers in Training. This is the podcast on which we discuss all things preaching and ministry. I'm Robert Hatfield, and this is the most wonderful time of the year all over again. Now, I know it's not Thanksgiving yet, okay, don't come at me, but it is time. You know, you have the family members who are saying, hey, you know, we don't know what to get you, you know, you're kind of the weird minister type in the family, and we don't ever know what you want for Christmas. Okay, we're here today with the 2024 annual holiday gift guide, and that could mean only one thing, that our good friend Chad Landman is back with us. Chad serves as one of the ministers for the Graymere Church of Christ in Columbia, Tennessee. Hey, Chad, welcome back.
Robert, I'm so glad when you ask me to do this every year. I get so excited, and I'm just like, yes, I get to talk about nerdy things with Robert and maybe sell some stuff to people that will make their lives so much better. So yeah, it's wonderful. Thank you so much again for the invite.
Oh no, thank you for the time that you spend in all this. You've got some great products. We're going to get into those in just a minute, but of course we plug this on a regular basis, and we have, I think, through the iterations over the years. But the Active Digital Parenting Seminar Workshop, I mean, it's all that and more, right? And you're actively doing all these. You're fresh off a great trip from Florida where you presented a lot of this material. Yeah, how's it all going?
Yes. I'll tell you how it's going. That was number 98.
Whoa.
That was workshop number 98
That's
in the
cool.
last 11 years. And so it has been an enormous blessing to me. And I hope that it has been a blessing to the people that I'm able to go and work with those workshops. We just had a wonderful one in the Concord Street Church of Christ down there in Orlando, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just amazing. The people were amazing. It was actually my longest workshop. The workshop usually only lasts around 3.5 hours or so.
Mm-hmm.
This one was almost 6 hours because they had so many questions, so much good discussion. It was absolutely amazing. And the congregation there is just amazing. So yeah, it is going very good, very strong. I've got, I think, 5 or 6 booked for next year, 2 in Indiana, 1 in Ohio. I mean, it's wonderful.
All right. Remind us again when people want to contact you. Of course, you're focusing on technology and the family and how to steward these things in a good way, in a God-honoring way.
Yes.
Tell people how they can learn more about it and then reach out to you if they want a book.
Digitalparentingworkshop.com. There's a contact form there. Just get in touch. I will get that email direct to my inbox, and I will work something out with you. There's my website right there. I love to talk about this stuff. The workshop's 3 hours. 2/3 of it is all about framing our mind around this technology. It's actually not a whole lot about this actual technology, but it's about that. So you see that 11:13 right there. I will actually be at Walnut Street Church Christ tonight and next Wednesday night here in Dixon, Tennessee.
Well, that's
and
right.
So I have to schedule these in months that I'm not, the ministry here at Graymere does not take precedence, obviously. Yeah. And so there's a few windows of time that I have during the year. So please get in touch with me if you want to schedule one. And it has been wonderful for me. And I know that it's been a good tool for a lot of parents.
That's awesome. Well, we appreciate what you do with that. Digitalparentingworkshop.com, and we'll put a link in the show notes for this episode of Preachers in Training. Of course, we talked about this before. And incidentally, if you're thinking Concord Street, I've heard that before. Earlier this year, we had David Farr, who is the minister for the Concord Street Church of Christ. And if you remember, he was talking about having brain surgery and that kind of, it's that guy. You know David. David's a great guy and great friend of the show, and we appreciate him a lot. It's good.
David is wonderful, and his family has a long history in ministry.
Yes.
And so he's just wonderful. He's a absolutely outstanding preacher. He is a wonderful guy.
Yeah. All right, today we're talking about 2024 Holiday Gift Guide. High level, before we get into some of the specifics, I mean, how do you go about choosing the things that you're going to put on this list for us?
I really what I think is how impressed will Robert be with my list. That's what I want. That's really all that I do. So,
Wow.
um,
Okay. So later,
honestly,
when Emily is like, "How much money do you want to spend? Why?" I'll be like, "Well, Chad, he crafted this for me. It's just for
yes, it's
me."
for Robert, and then it's for everybody else, maybe.
Okay. Good.
So, but in all seriousness, it is. These are items that I've used. These are books that I've read. We're going to talk about some books at the very beginning here. These are books that I have read. These are items that I have used throughout the year that I have really enjoyed and fully endorse, that make my life in some ways easier and better to get stuff done with. So
Good.
that's just really where it comes from. This is all practical stuff that I've actually used.
Okay. I love it. There's always a good list. Let's see. You got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 or so different items on the list. And as you said, we start with books. All of these, let's see. I think this is true. Yeah, we have Amazon links for all of these. So, I mean, if you order it today, you can probably have it tomorrow.
You would think so.
Yeah, there
Amazon's
you
a little
go.
bit slower these days, but yeah.
Oh, come on. Okay. All right. And we start with some books. We'll have links to these in all the show notes. So don't feel like you gotta try and remember them or whatever. Just go to thelightnetwork.tv, look for this episode of Preachers in Training, and you'll find it there. We begin with a book about church communications. Hmm.
This is excellent. This was recommended to me. I was able to go to the Faulkner Digital Media Workshop and immediately pick this book up. And
Oh,
it's by a lady named Katie Allred, and she does methods in marketing for church communications. And it is just really good practical things to and what she calls a digital footprint. And there's all sorts of different stuff that she talks about. If you think about it, a lot of ministers don't like to think about it this way, but if you think about market, like you're going over the table of contents right here, when she talks about
mm-hmm.
branding and digital marketing, we don't like to use those terms in relation to the gospel,
Yeah.
but that's what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
We are marketing, we are branding our churches and marketing the gospel, the most important message that humanity has ever known, um, to people. And increasingly, what she actually made this point, increasingly, we are marketing it to people that have zero connection to any type of church. And this is not just talking about churches of Christ. This is talking about churchgoers at all. We're increasingly seeing people that have zero connections to church. And so church communications within the church to do things like repurpose content using the proper tools for technology these days instead of resisting those things or pushing back on those things. But then externally, marketing the gospel to people who increase a world that is increasingly disconnected from Jesus and frankly doesn't know anything about him. And so, I hesitate to say that our message is now more important than ever, but there is no such thing as too much communication.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think this is a really great book. I love it because it speaks to my marketing and design tendencies, and it
Mm-hmm.
goes through some of that stuff as well. It's really good.
Sure. All right. Sounds really good. And as we're recording this, all I can do is give you the prices of things that we're recording it, but it's 39%. That's a weird percent to be off. But anyway, it's a 39% off discount. List price $17.99. Amazon's got it $10.91 or $9.99 on Kindle. So that's good.
And the best part about this is I love that kind of stuff because when I was at this conference, I don't have to wait for Amazon to deliver it to me. I just went and bought it for $10 and I was
That's a
reading
good
it that
point.
evening. So
Okay.
it's very good.
Yeah, it's a good point. All right, continuing on the book thing now. We're talking about generations.
Mm. This
Okay.
is another one now. This
Yeah.
is connected to my digital parenting ministry. This was a book recommended to me by Jason Helton. He is the media outreach minister at the Madison Church of Christ in Madison,
Mm-hmm.
Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
But this book is, I've got it right here actually. This is an excellent, excellent book that talks about the connection of what we're dealing with right now with the smartphone generation and Generation X. And she goes through all, you can see right here, she goes through all these Gen Z, Millennial, Gen X, and Boomers, and Silence. The Silence are actually the generation of that was before the baby boomers that did not talk about things, let's just say sensitive topics,
Yeah.
that did not talk about sensitive topics back in those days. We are reaping the benefits of those things now. And this is not just one of those This is by Dr. Jean Twenge, and this is not one of those books that's like um, just her opinion. This is a lot of research that she's done and a lot of surveys that she's done and a lot of different things that she's done with this. And so
Mm,
it's an incredibly important topic. And I believe every minister should read this book. But also, obviously, every youth minister should read this book.
yeah.
Um, we constantly underestimate the generational differences that people have, that we have between generations, and how significant that is. And the way I talk about it in my digital parenting stuff is like, hey, if you're 35, 45 years old, like you grew up in a generation that did not have Netflix growing up. You grew up
Yeah.
in a generation that did not have these smartphones growing up. But you think about your 15-year-old, they've never known anything but this technology. And
Hmm.
so that generation gap right there is huge. Now you think about the generation gap between our generation and somebody who grew up in the 1930s and 1940s.
Mm,
And so it goes into a lot of different studies about this. I think it's just eye-opening the way that we see our churches, because we tend to categorize our churches in the elderly people. You've got the middle-aged people, and then you've got the young people, and then of course the kids. That's our four age groups. And
hmm,
how do we
hmm.
bring them all together? I think this has so much to do with how do we bring all those people together, and really make a difference in our churches. And I think this is an essential read.
That's pretty cool. The little blurb on Amazon says, upending the conventional theory that generational differences are caused by major events, Dr. Jean
Mm,
Twenge analyzes data on 39 million people from
yeah.
robust national surveys, some going back nearly a century, to show that changes in technology are the underlying driver of each generation's unique makeup. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so that sounds pretty cool.
It's very deep. Now, it is not an easy read. You're not gonna
Okay, is it
you're
kind of
not gonna
technical?
you're not gonna binge this in a night or two. It's
Yeah.
gonna be one of those that you kind of gotta slog through a little bit for a
Okay.
few weeks, because it's very good. And frankly, it's not easy to read.
Hmm.
And when you look back on it, and people think, you look back on it and you say, man, that's exactly how my grandpa was, or that's exactly how my mother was. It's like,
Mm.
ooh, that's a little bit eye opening. So
Yeah,
very
yeah.
good, very good.
It may help us to work better toward unity as well in the church and things like that, which is always great.
Absolutely.
Always great. Okay, it's $16.99 for Kindle and $18.69 for hardcover right now on Amazon as we're recording this. So that's good. And okay, next on the list, we got another book here, and this also kind of seems to be under the same line of thinking, right?
It does. Filter World it is eye-opening in the very fact of, like, once you figure out that the entire world runs on algorithms now, it changes how you interface with technology.
Mm.
And also how it overlaps, and like how can everything. Robert, I don't know about you, but I'm as a minister, even as not even a full-time pulpit minister, as an education minister, I'm constantly thinking about how are these things affecting the church of today?
Mm-hmm.
And how is an algorithm affecting what we're doing with our services, what we're doing with our live stream, what we're doing with people coming to the front doors of our church building on Sundays? How is that affecting this? And how is it affecting the current members that we have, not just the evangelism efforts that we have, but how is it affecting our current church, the algorithms and what people are dealing with? And so basically his whole entire premise is the entire world lives on algorithms, and he's not wrong. Everything that we touch every single day almost runs on an algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's incredibly eye-opening. Very good read.
Wow. Okay. It's $15.18 on Amazon. Hardcover $14.99 for Kindle. Looks like it's got great reviews. Filter World: How Algorithms Flattened Culture by Kyle. Do you know how to say his last name? Chaka?
Cheka. Hmm.
Chaka. Okay. I love this cookie cutter on the cover.
Yeah. It's kind of that's kind of one of the examples he uses. He says, we've come to where no one is unique and everyone is shaped from the same mold. And I'm just
Oh,
like, ugh, that is exactly the opposite of what Scripture tells us to be.
right, right.
And so I'm sitting here
Mm.
thinking, like, how can I apply these ideas to what the Bible says? And that is
Mm-hmm.
always what I'm thinking about, anyway. So
So, the first book that you mentioned, church communications. Obviously, that one is more geared toward church environments.
Yeah.
Generations, is that kind of a religious book, or is it just sort of
Not at all, really. It
okay,
goes into religion. It talks about how impactful religion was, but it is not based upon any kind of she's not a I don't believe she's a Christian.
okay?
But at the same time, it's one of those kinds of things where you can absolutely apply those things
Oh
to
yeah,
thinking about, whoa, generational differences in the
yeah.
church. And so,
And
yeah.
it sounds like Filter World. It's kind of the same way, right? It's not
Hmm.
designed to be a religious book. In other words,
Yeah.
good. Okay. Those are three great book picks, and you can find all those in our show notes, thelightnetwork.tv. All right, now you always bring some technology stuff, and we would assume this about you. We know that you're a nerd among nerds, but also that you're doing these digital parenting workshops and all that. So you got the tools. And I'm a big believer, and you said this too, equipping ministers and things with things that can help their lives be better. So this is a lot of fun. I loved the first stuff. I look forward to this stuff as well. We got a charger. There's always a charger on the list these days. Got to
And
have a
you
charger.
got to power stuff, right? You
Yeah,
got to power
that's
stuff.
true.
I wanted to show you, Robert, the
Okay.
Apple Ultra is not on my list to buy,
Yeah.
but because it's not for everybody. But at the same time, I
Mm-hmm.
went back to the Apple Watch and I decided to go, I guess
Mm.
full Ultra.
Yeah.
And
Now,
this
the
has been a
Ultra
really
is
good
the
buy.
Apple Watch that's a little more expensive. It's sort of a little more rugged. It's kind of geared toward the
Yes.
mountain climbers and the extreme sport type people. But there are some advantages for normal people. I don't mean to demean you in any way, Chad, because I know you're a rugged
Right.
kind of extreme person. But well, there are some advantages for even people who aren't hanging off of cliffs to own an Apple Watch Ultra as well.
And battery life being one of them.
Okay.
And so the battery life on the Ultra is one of the biggest things that I got because it has phenomenal battery life. This thing lasts about 3 days, which is
What? Three
which is kind of
days?
awesome. 3 days, yeah, exactly. And that's with moderate use. That's with
Hmm.
me answering text messages and talking on it and things like that. I
Yeah,
was off the Apple Watch for several years. I did
I
not
know.
think I didn't want one. I was
Hmm.
like, I just kind of don't want this. But at the same time, I realized that it's got a lot of advantages. One of them, and again, one of my recommendations is not an Apple Watch, but I guess
Yeah,
we're talking about it.
here we are.
Sleep apnea
Whoops. Sorry.
detection
Oh, yeah.
and sleep awareness. And I wanted to monitor my sleep. And so this Apple Watch has sleep apnea detection, and it will detect breathing disturbances during your sleep. It will detect heart rate, respiration. I don't know how it does all this stuff while you're sleeping. And I know that some people be like, "Oh, wearing a watch to bed, that's weird." But
Yeah.
you get used to it really quickly. And with the battery life as it, I don't have to charge it overnight like I do, a lesser watch. So
Mm-hmm.
basically what I said is for this, I've got this little Apple Watch charger right here, and it's got
Oh,
a
look
little
how
cap.
small that is.
Yeah, it's very small. So I'll
Wow.
hold it right here for perspective. It's very
Yeah.
small. It's got one USB-C on there. It doesn't have a cable. It's got a little rubber thing right here to where you can put it
Yeah.
on a keychain if you wanted to. But it's
Hmm.
got that little cover on it that usually stays on it. But you take that off. It's got a USB-C cable, and you can plug this into any USB-C device,
Hmm.
period. You can plug it into your iPhone if you wanted. In fact, let me do that right now.
Oh,
Um,
live demo.
so you put it on your Apple. I got my phone right here.
Yeah.
And then all you got to do is just lay this joker right across there and
Huh.
it charges. See, I've got it charging
So
right there.
it's drawing power from the phone.
It's drawing power from the phone. You can
Ah.
also, now what's really great about this is if you have a full size iPad that's USB-C, you can
Okay.
put this on there and it will hang off like this. They probably have
Uh-huh.
a picture of it on the website, but
Yeah.
it's magnetic. So it'll hang there. It's not incredibly strong, but
Mm-hmm.
you can put it there and it'll just charge your Apple Watch. And the great thing
Wow.
about it is I don't have to carry a separate Apple Watch charger with me when I travel. I
Yeah.
can carry, let me see if I can find it here. I've got this will just work with any USB charger as well. So
Mm-hmm.
I've got a little regular Anchor brick right here.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it'll just fit right there and you can just hang it there on the wall and it's no problem.
And when you have an
And
Apple
so
Watch that
it's
lasts
a
for
perfect trap.
days, it's good.
Exactly. And I can
Yeah.
I can throw this in anything and I can have an Apple Watch charger with me whenever I need to. Period.
Okay.
That's it.
So this
And
is not a battery. It is basically just an adapter for an Apple Watch charger,
right, that's
right?
all
I
it
mean,
is. And you can, like
that's
they got it in the
great.
picture, you can use it with your computer.
Uh-huh.
And it works with every Apple Watch. You can see Series 9, up from SE all the way from Series 3 all the way up to Series 10.
Very cool. It's $14.99 on Amazon today. That is just really, really neat. I haven't thought about
It's one of the
something like
best.
that.
It's one of the best little things that I bought all year. I did not think I
Mm-hmm.
would use it that much, but then I went on a few trips and I forgot my Apple Watch cable.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no, what am I going to do? And then all of a sudden I was like, I just use this. It's really nice, really
Yeah.
small.
Oh, that's great. So you could even use, like, if you take your phone the charger that used to come with the phones.
Yep.
If you take your iPhone charger with you,
Any any
anything with a
USB-C
USB-C.
block,
Yeah.
yeah, anything with a USB-C port on it is going to work.
We used to have to worry about like power conversions and all that stuff, plugging the wrong device into
Oh
too
no,
large
is
of a
this a 20
thing.
amp or a 5 amp or yeah,
Do you
exactly.
have to
We don't
deal
have to
with
worry
that
about that.
anymore? You really don't, do you?
Only if you're dealing with nerd stuff like Raspberry Pis, honestly. Like
Okay.
Raspberry Pis need a specific amperage, and if they don't
Yeah.
have it, the stuff won't work. But other than that, like
Okay.
you
Yeah.
don't need to really worry about it.
Cool. All right. That I like that. That is the USB-C compact charger for all the Apple Watches. What's funny to me about this is that I was looking for a brand. It's from the
Yeah,
Ultra
there's
Supply
no brand.
Company
It's just
store.
USB-C. What's it called now? What's the company called?
Ultra Supply Company.
Okay, I
That's
didn't
what
even
this
see because they
is.
don't put the brand in their description.
Yeah.
I've just been calling it the USB-C portable Apple Watch charger. I don't
Sure.
even know if but I guess it's the Ultra brand.
Ultra. Okay. All right. And up next, we got a keyboard now.
So you got two, not one, but two keyboards, and the next keyboard is
That's
really
right.
fantastic as well. But this is
Okay.
the Keychron K7, and I don't have it with me. I would have shown it to you. I have a
Okay.
bigger version of this one right here
Oh,
that
okay.
is like twice the cost. Now this
Oh,
one's really nice, but
yeah.
you cannot overestimate or underestimate the niceness of having a good keyboard to type on.
Okay. Yeah,
You just can't.
that's true.
Um, this is $109. It is the best desktop keyboard that I have ever used. The
Wow.
keys are like butter. It's not super clicky at all.
Okay.
It's just a very dull click because a lot of people are like, well, I can't use one of those in my office because everybody would hear me typing it all the time. Well, this is just incredible. And it's a 75% keyboard. What that means is that if you take a full size keyboard, this is 75% of the size of a full size keyboard. Or sorry, 65%, excuse me. So it's a
Okay.
65% programmable keyboard. Now, all that being said, one of the most important things that comes with this is a tiny little one of these little USB dongles.
Mm.
And I plugged that into a dock we're going to talk about a dock here pretty soon.
Oh,
A lot of this stuff
okay.
is desk stuff this year, but that's okay.
That's fun.
Um, but having this prevents me from having to use like Bluetooth or anything like that, and it
Hmm.
instantly connects. And it's just a very nice keyboard. There's not a whole lot else to say about it. It's a
Yeah.
joy to type on. My wrists don't get. They've got two little things on the back side that you can actually do two different levels of incline if you want.
Oh,
Um,
fancy.
for a long, long time, I was a big proponent and user of the Apple Magic Keyboard, but since
Yes.
I'm getting older every day, um, and I seriously though, I need a little bit more travel. I need a little bit more incline
Hmm.
and my wrists need a little bit more relief. And my wrists have not bothered me since using this. And it
Dang.
has been absolutely outstanding.
See, I'm
Keychron is just a great brand.
I'm still on the Apple. I've got the full size
I love
Apple.
them.
Do
I
you know
love them, but
why I love this so much though? Touch ID.
Touch ID. Yeah. And the
That's
only
the
reason
thing.
that I'm able to use that, and that is a good point, I've got my laptop open in front of me right now, but usually I've got
Yeah.
my big monitor right in front of me. I set my laptop to the side and it's
See
open,
that?
so
Yep.
I can just reach over and hit the Touch ID there.
Yep.
But you would be very surprised at how many times you use Touch ID per day.
Yes. Right.
Um,
That's
and it's really
exactly
good.
right.
Now, again, use that and you want to use Touch ID to authorize something, your Apple Watch can be used to authorize things on your Mac
Right.
as well.
Right.
So you
Right.
can
Which
double
is
tap the
handy.
thing, and because
Yeah.
it's a biometric, authorization or whatever.
But the
So
one thing that it did, this Apple keyboard, and I haven't had this keyboard for too awfully long, but the one thing it did take me a while to get used to was the key travel, and that's what you're saying
yes,
here. And I love this this image that's on the Amazon
any
page
new
right now.
keyboard,
You can
yeah,
really see, man, that looks
any
nice.
new keyboard is going to be an adjustment.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you like something like this and you want to move toward, it's a very thin keyboard, but it gives me just a little bit more thickness there to
Mm-hmm.
have more incline, to be able to get like this incline where I can type in a little bit better way. And
Yeah.
so I love it. And it's lit up, so it's got all this different stuff behind it. So it's
Mm-hmm.
RGB, so it's got lights you can program and all sorts of different
Oh,
stuff. And
nice.
we all know that RGB lighting makes everything faster and better. So
Oh, of course it does. Of course it does. All right, 109.99. Which I mean, okay, some people are going to be like for a keyboard, but if you're thinking about the ergonomic nature, the key
mhm.
travel, something that is maybe a little easier on the wrist, if you're doing a lot of typing, which I think a lot of ministers are, it is something to think about.
Yeah, go
Worthy
look at some other
investment.
keyboards. You'll see them $250. They're not cheap at all.
That's right. That's right. Okay, but this next keyboard, you said there were two back to back here. This
Oh,
takes
Robert,
compact to a different level.
Robert. So preachers like to get out of the office sometimes, right?
Of course we do. I
We like to
think.
travel sometimes, and we get to do that sometimes, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This
Look
is
at
the
this.
iClever foldable keyboard. Now, let me show you a slim profile of this. It
Whoa, that's
is
tiny.
it is very tiny. It's very slim. This is the perfect iPad keyboard for you for any iPad, but you can also use this with just your phone. Let me show you a couple of things about it. And there's
Oh.
one feature that makes this better than any foldable keyboard that I've ever used.
Hmm.
So if I open this up, it
Mm-hmm.
opens, it's a trifold, so it opens up like this.
Oh.
And you've got some really nice hinges right here.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a trackpad over here with two buttons, right and left.
What?
But then you've got memory buttons that you can connect this to three different devices. So all you got to do is one tap and you connect it to another device. I've got this programmed
Huh.
for my iPad mini, um, my iPhone is number two, and then I don't have anything on number three.
Hmm.
But in case you didn't remember, iPad OS has mouse support, so you can use the
That's
mouse on this.
right. Yes.
Here's the game changer with this, because this is what most foldable keyboards do not do well. Normally, they would have just this right here, and you see these little bumps right here. Well, the
Yeah.
keyboard kind of rocks and it moves a little bit while you're doing it. And then iClever said, no, we're going to do this little thing right here. You see these little things right here at the end?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh. Well,
They're,
that doesn't
they're
look
just
like.
little,
Yeah.
it doesn't look like a lot, but they're just
Right.
little stabilizers. You pop them up,
Yeah.
and it makes all the difference in the world. You've got those
Wow.
little stabilizers, and this is the nicest foldable keyboard
Yeah.
that I have ever used. And trust me, I have used a lot of foldable keyboards that are absolutely
Yeah.
terrible. I cannot recommend this highly enough. It is actually really good. And then of course it folds back up,
Folds
which by the
back.
way, it has automatic syncing. So when you open it up, the last
Uh-huh.
device that you had it paired with, it automatically will pair with it if it's
Oh,
near it.
that's nice. Okay.
So you don't have to go resync. You don't have to touch any buttons or do
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
And it charges via USB-C right there. It
Oh, that's
is
nice too.
excellent. So it's
Yeah.
real nice and compact.
Mm-hmm.
It'll fit into almost any kind of thing. They show you using it with a phone right there.
Mm-hmm.
The iPhone does not have mouse support,
Right.
but the iPad does, and it will just work out of the box.
Yeah.
It is absolutely excellent. And the best part about it is that I feel like every foldable keyboard I've ever used has been like $75. This one's $52.
Mm-hmm.
It is excellent.
Yeah.
Now, I will say that I wouldn't recommend, you could absolutely type out a sermon on this. You could type
Sure.
out your notes for a sermon on this, but you're not going to be wanting to write a novel on these.
Oh, yeah.
But for
Right.
those
Right.
for those short things that you need to open up and you want a real keyboard to use with your phone or your iPad, or this will work just fine with an Android tablet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it'll work just fine with. You could technically use it with like a Mac Mini or a desktop computer if you really wanted to, but at the same time, it's Bluetooth. It is just I cannot say enough good things about it. It's actually really good. I love the
I
robot
know
typing
it's.
there. Like,
We're watching the video of the little commercial video thing of it.
but
Yeah,
it's really nice because it's got quick switching. So you could use this, but at the same
yeah,
time, it's one of these, like, it is perfectly suited for something for portable people. If you want to take this to a coffee
yeah.
shop and just write a bunch of notes out or something, it's gonna be perfect for that.
Good stuff. So if you're
I'll show
listening
you
on
I'll
audio,
show you
it's
the
it's got this
size.
trifold thing, and so it's the two hinges would typically on the bottom side be like sticking up, but it's
So
got the little
that's an
feet to.
iPad mini. That's the size in relation to an
There we
iPad
go.
mini, and
Wow.
that's the thickness in relation to an iPad mini.
See, that's amazing. That's not adding that much space
And
in the
so,
bag or anything. Yeah.
well, and see, you've got these two things. You've got a full. You can work
You're
with
ready.
just this right here. You're
Yeah.
ready, and
Wow,
you got a
that's cool.
mouse. It work on the iPad mini. You got a mouse. I just love
Oh,
that.
come
I
on.
love it.
I love it too. That's really good. Okay, $52.99 for the iClever foldable keyboard. All right, you mentioned we had a docking station that was coming up, and it looks
Yes,
like
and I
that's what
cannot
we
show you this because it is
got
running
now.
everything right now for
Oh,
me.
don't
But
disrupt the apple cart there. No.
this docking station is so cool. And if you know anything about docking stations for, especially for like Macs or computers,
Mm-hmm.
you will know that they are really expensive.
Yes.
Um,
And you
I
have to
got
get the
this
really
one
expensive one, otherwise it's clunky.
right,
Yeah.
but this one's been really good. It looks kind of clunky at least, but it has been very, very good for me. And I don't need, it says right there, you went over the 4K. It'll give me 4K at 60 hertz, which is 60
Uh-huh.
frames a second.
Uh-huh.
You've got a power input. My laptop is a 14-inch laptop, so I only need 100 to 90 to 100 watts of charging.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really, really good. It handles everything I want. But the cool thing about this one is that the front screen is able to have, you've got a full screen on the front that shows you any
Mm.
number of things. So that's showing the weather, but you've got programmable widgets on this thing that you can have. And
Mm.
so this is almost like, yeah, you got multiple built-in apps. I like the one with the weather, of course, but then I've liked the one that tells me, you can have notifications sent to this if you really want to.
Mm.
You can connect different services with it. It's really neat. I did not think that I would like it. I thought, well, this thing will work for a little while and then it's not going to work anymore and
Yeah,
it'll
yeah.
be awful and stuff like that. No, it's actually very, very good. And it does what I need it to do. It connects and it works very fast with my USB um, hard drives and different things like that. I've got a network drive here on my desk also that it runs the network through the network there. And it's just really, really cool. I've got some stock tickers on mine as well.
Mm.
And I like the hardware monitoring. I've got some ones on there and you can just kind of swipe through them and show it comes with like this built-in software that you can run on your Mac or your PC. It's really neat. Just thought I'd mention it. I think it's a really cool little desk thing. If you don't have a clock on your
Yeah.
desk already, it's pretty neat.
Really cool. And I mean, $69.99 is a pretty great price for something like that too.
And it's got a 20% coupon right now, which is kind of
Hey.
crazy when I checked that out. 20%,
Okay.
that's not inconsequential at all. So
No, no, that's good. All right, USB-C laptop docking station and all those ports. That's fancy.
it's not gonna give you super high speed ports. It's not gonna give you Thunderbolt or anything. So if you're like a video professional like Hardison Moles or something, you're not gonna be able
Yeah,
to
yeah.
use that. But at the same time, for most people that are probably watching this show, you're going to need something that will transfer a video to a USB drive very quickly.
Yeah.
You're going to need some access to your hard drives and things like that. It's going to do this all, and it's going to be real. It's a really nice little package.
Or just a few different ports. Maybe you still
Right.
need the old
If you need just
USB-A
more ports.
ports, stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, it's good
Yeah.
stuff. Okay, a screen protector for iPhone is next on the list.
Okay. So you would think that, like, okay, a screen protector, well, that's boring. Here's the thing about this, though, and I'm going to show you the one on my iPad mini
Yeah.
because I actually had to take off the one on my iPhone because I dropped it and it protected my screen and it did what it was
Oh,
supposed to do
so you
and
say
it
it
broke.
works. Okay.
So I peeled it off. So I ordered two more. But these are from a brand called Mothka. Now I'm going to show you. You can't, it's really hard to kind of bring it in on
Mothka.
the video.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds very Sounds very
Something.
Russian, but
Yes, it does.
the thing about these screen protectors is they are anti-glare, as you can see,
Hmm.
and they're anti-skid, which means you get a really smooth. It's
Oh.
very smooth. They make them for iPads, iPad minis, iPhone, all types of iPhones. Um, and the cool thing about the iPhone, what is the one what is the one motion on an iPhone that you are doing probably 100 times a day?
Oh, I don't know. I'm scrolling up and
Swiping up,
down. Yeah.
scrolling up and down, but swiping up from the
Swiping
bottom, right?
up. Yeah.
Because you're coming from an app, you're swiping up to get on your phone, you're swiping up from the bottom to get. This has a smooth edge around the edge where it's not going to catch your
Oh.
finger. And it's very well done. I was very surprised. You get two of these in a pack. Every one that you buy, you get two of these in a pack for like $14. And I
Wow.
think the iPad mini size one was like $16 or something.
Huh.
They're very easy to put on. The phone ones actually come with this little um, plastic frame that you put around the screen of the phone, so they're very easy to put on. As long as you make sure that your phone is dust free and
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff, they're actually very, very easy to put on. So,
Wow.
normally I'm not a fan of screen protectors, but I will tell you that I have had a very, very good experience with these. And the reason why I got one initially was because I read off of my iPad mini in my Bible class. And
Yeah.
there was these infernal spotlights that we installed that I don't
Infernal.
like. And
Yes.
they had a really bad glare on the shiny iPad screen. I put this on there and it greatly diminished that because I had to change the angle of the iPad so that I could read my notes, and that was
Mm.
no good. And
Mm-hmm.
so, very, very cool. You wouldn't think you would have a lot to say about a screen protector, but these are
Yeah.
outstanding. They're cheap
Yeah.
and easy to put on. I just highly recommend them for every device you have.
Yeah. There have been a lot of these over the years since iPhones and iPads started coming out. And yeah, it can be hard to find the right one, but this sounds like
Right.
the right
And it
one.
works with Apple Pencil on the iPad. It actually works
Oh,
with Apple Pencil. It's a it's a tad bit thicker. It's almost like a glass screen protector. Just a tad bit thicker than just a film like a Paperlike.
yeah.
But I don't know if you've seen the Paperlike prices, but Paperlikes are like
Yes.
$50.
Yeah. That's another
And
sort of screen protector brand. Yeah.
exactly. And it's another screen protector, but at the same time, this one's got really good smudge resistance and all sorts of stuff. So very, very good. Very
Okay.
good. I did not think I'd be recommending a screen protector, but I am.
$13.99 for the iPhone 15, and remember that comes with two of those, so that's pretty cool. All
Get
right.
one for you and the
Okay.
wife.
The next one surprised me a little bit because we're sort of entering the earbud headphone area of our list here.
All right. All right. Here's my disclaimer here. Okay.
Okay.
I've got you two pairs of earbuds here.
Yes.
And this is there's a budget option and
Okay.
a not budget option. Is
Okay.
that is
Yeah.
that kind of good?
Sure. Yeah.
So these are the Tozo earbuds,
Mm.
and there are a million types. If you've been on Amazon for 5 minutes, you understand there are a million types of these earbuds online about
Uh-huh.
like and so many different types of varying quality. You'll get them and they sound like you're listening to something inside of a garbage can. I mean,
Yes.
they sound awful. These though are actually very, very good. They surprise me with how good they are.
Hmm.
They've got a little screen on the front that shows you the charge. So you can
Oh,
actually see the charge on there, which is kind of neat.
that's handy.
But they're basically the same kind of footprint as Galaxy Buds.
Mm.
If people are familiar with Galaxy Buds,
Mm-hmm.
they have a. The only thing I don't like about these is that they have sensitive touch thing panels on on the outside of them, but when they fit in your ears here, let's see if I can try one on without touching our audio here. But if you put them in, I mean, they're
Oh,
very low profile.
yes, they
They don't
are.
have the stem that sticks out. And oddly enough, these are noise canceling for
What?
$29. And the noise canceling is actually really good.
Huh.
I was incredibly surprised. They come with three different earpiece
Mm-hmm.
sizes. and a very nice little magnetic case, of course, and they charge via USB-C. They are plastic. There's not
Yeah.
going to be a lot of metal on here. They're not going to
Sure.
feel incredibly high quality. But let me tell you, for $39, now you can actually do a $10 coupon there. So for $39, $10 coupon though,
Huh.
I can absolutely attest for these. If you are looking for a pair of earbuds for a stocking stuffer, somebody in your life, you don't want to spend $200 on Apple
Yeah.
earbuds.
Yeah.
This is a great budget option.
Yeah.
And I can attest, I used them on the plane this weekend,
Oh,
and they
really?
did a very good job. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, these have really come a long way.
That's cool. Made by a company called Tozo. Interesting.
And Tozo's got a decently good reputation
Do
for
they?
different stuff. You can see their rating is like 4.7.
Yeah.
It's deserved. They've got this is a very decent product. If these were $60 or $70, I'd be like,
Yeah.
but they're $39 regular, and now you can get them for 29. So pretty incredible.
That's pretty good. All right, that was the budget option. Now we go to the not budget option, and there's no surprise it's branded Apple.
Yes, and this is the only Apple thing that we've got, but I was actually very impressed with these. So I'm actually wearing my AirPods Pros
Yes.
right now. I've had AirPods Pros since
Oh,
day one.
yeah.
I've had them for 2, 3, 4 years,
These can
and
get a
I wear
little
them every day.
confusing because they make all these different. You got Apple AirPods 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, a jillion, and then you got AirPods Pros, which are a different product altogether, right? So
Yes.
you're wearing AirPods Pros right now.
I'm wearing AirPods Pros, and let me show you. These are the
Yeah.
in-ear ones. These have an
Yeah.
in-ear little silicone tip on them. That's kind of the
Mhm.
distinguishing factor here.
Sort of sticks
For
down in your
people,
ear canal.
right, it does a little bit, and it's not as invasive as you might think.
Okay.
Um, but the noise canceling, I mean, you get what you pay for on these. These are
Sure.
minimum $200
Yeah.
for the Pros. These are the Pro 2s. Minimum $200. Regular price is $249 on these. So you can catch them
Oh,
on sale sometimes
okay.
at like Sam's Club and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
However, Apple came out with, and I bought these for my wife. Apple
Mm.
came out with a new set of AirPods. She loves the regular, original, long stemmed AirPods.
Yes.
She loves them. They just sit in your ear. They don't go in your ear, and I mean, they're okay. I don't like them. I've since gotten used to the AirPods Pros.
Yeah. Yeah.
But these, if you can tell the difference in the size of the case here, look at the
Okay.
size of the case. It's
Yeah.
so much smaller, and these actually are fantastic. I actually took them on the trip with me as well. These are a
I love
different
this.
design. I took like so many different types of earbuds. I have a lot of stuff to test, but they're a different design. And you think, wow, that looks really weird. Like that looks so weird compared to the old AirPods. They fit really well. They sound incredible.
Mm.
These actually, I got the noise canceling version. You can get the non noise canceling version
Oh.
for $130,
Mm-hmm.
but you can also pay $50 more and get the noise canceling version. And it is, I mean, they're just excellent, Robert.
Yeah.
They're absolutely excellent. Those were 179 retail,
Mm-hmm.
and they're very good. The case is so compact. They're very well designed. They sound as good as my Pro 2s do. And
Interesting.
I mean, they're just very good. The noise canceling is also done. It's not getting a seal on your ears, so
Mm-hmm.
there's going to be some sound that comes through, but it is surprisingly good.
Mm-hmm.
And also, they all charge with USB-C now instead of Lightning, so that's a big jump up as well.
When they say active noise canceling, they kind of mean they're doing some processing to get the noise out somehow, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
They are taking, for instance, on the plane, they are taking the hum of an airplane,
Yeah, yeah.
they're taking that and they're inverting the sound in your ear to process that to make sure that it just cancels all of it out. That's what they're doing.
Interesting. Wow.
And it is very, very effective for an earphone that just lightly sits in your ear. It does
Yeah.
not have any kind of seal with those silicone things.
Mm-hmm.
It actually does a phenomenal job.
Yeah. Up at the top on the Amazon link, you can see the AirPods 4 and the AirPods Pro 2 side by side, and you can see the
Mhm.
little tip there that goes down into the ear on the Pro versus the absence of that on the AirPods 4. But yeah,
So
and
if you're
it's a lot
coming
what
from
you get
original
used to and things like
AirPods,
that. Yeah.
yeah. If you're coming from original AirPods, like these are, if you got an aging set of AirPods, and the battery lasts, 5 minutes,
Oh yeah.
and you really want to just get you a pair of these. These are absolutely excellent and highly recommend them.
Okay. I love it. Now, it can't be all work and no play, right? So we've got a little
Absolutely not, right?
recreational activity coming up next.
Okay, this is the MiU Mini,
Me,
and I
you.
don't. Again, there's some weird product names on this list this year. I think that's just indicative of what we are seeing in society. But
Yeah.
this is the MiU Mini, and normally I'm not a fan of
It's a gaming console.
emulation game system. It's a gaming console. That's what
Yeah.
it is.
Hmm.
And it allows you to play. And again, there are various different ways to get your old Nintendo games into ROM form. You don't have
Okay.
to download them from CD websites and things like that, but you can just YouTube a video about that. But I've got
Uh-huh.
my entire game collection of physical games at home. I have on this now, and
Wow.
it is really neat. These are loosely based on Android, and so I've got all these little different systems I've got here. I've got
Oh,
um, I've got like Game Boy Advance.
arcade.
I've got some CPS3, which is the Capcom arcade games.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really neat kind of stuff. And again, all of these games have been so I've got my NES games that I pulled. I own several I've owned several Neo Geo games as well, and
Mm-hmm.
I pulled those off using various methods.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just a really neat little game system. The coolest thing about these is that they work a lot like a Nintendo Switch.
Mm.
You can be playing a game and you hit the top sleep button and it puts it to sleep like that. You
Mm-hmm.
hit the button 2, 3, 4 hours later, it will pick up right where you left off on the game,
Oh.
and it's just really neat. It's a neat little system. It's the best one that I've used. The screen is absolutely phenomenal. Um, and you can put all sorts of different stuff on here. This was actually one of the first games that I ever owned. It's called Life Force. It was like a
Oh,
little
yeah, yeah.
space shoot 'em up game, and you can see yeah, you can even hear a little bit of it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's like a full Nintendo game that I owned when I was a kid. Now I can play it in my hands, and
Yeah.
it's really neat.
In your pocket at any
In my
moment.
pocket.
That's
And
cool.
it's got shoulder buttons. It charges USB-C. It works off a SD card,
Oh, come on.
and it's just really nice. Very, very nice.
If you could go back and tell us, do you remember the Game Boy and even like of course the first one wasn't in color and then you got a little color, but it didn't really have much if any of a backlight, and so they made these attachments with a magnifying
It
glass
was called the Light Boy,
and
Robert.
lights. Yes. And
And
that
Alan
was what we
Shull gave me one
used.
of those
Did
at
he really?
present. Yes, he did.
Boy, how far we have come today, right? I mean, if
Yes,
you could just go
absolutely.
back and tell young Chad, better days are coming. It'll be okay.
Little young Chad's mind would have been melted by these things.
Blown. That's right. Yeah. All right, that's $75.99 on Amazon, and that's good. Okay, I was expecting this as well. And in addition to the ministry stuff you do and the digital parenting stuff and the technology stuff, I know you've gotten big into the everyday carry, and especially as it comes to like knives and things, right? I mean, you're even doing YouTube content
Yes.
about this these days.
Yes, I am, and it is my non-ministry hobby, is what I call it. And it is
Yes.
one of those things. It's a lot of fun. It doesn't take a lot of my time,
Yeah.
and people seem to enjoy it. So I'm very, very blessed in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
Check me out on YouTube, Landman EDC. I would
EDC,
love for
everyday
you to
carry.
get in touch. But yeah,
So
this is
finding
one of
the
those.
right like little pocket knife, I don't know if this is more than a pocket knife, but finding the right knife you want to carry with you on a regular basis. That's a hard decision. I mean, I'm living with
It
this for
is.
a while, so yeah.
It is. And everything has gotten so, I wouldn't say cheap, but everything has gotten so accessible
Good.
in as far as like retro gaming. We just talked about that little thing. That's
Right,
accessible
right,
now. It's
right.
not expensive. And you can get a unbelievable knife for $45. It is unbelievable.
Wow.
And this actually is much cheaper. This
Yes.
is a small fixed blade knife. This is the Odin Wolf Mini, W Mini.
Look at
And
that
this is
little
just a
guy.
small, yeah, and it's just a small little fixed blade knife, a
Uh-huh.
phenomenal grip on this. You've got D2 steel on it, which is a very mid-grade steel, but it's very good because it's not expensive and it sharpens well and it's very durable. And it comes with a good fixed blade knife is made or not made with a good sheath. And
Yeah.
this has a really good, nice little plastic
Mm.
sheath on there with a belt clip as well. You can adjust and put it on a different
Mm.
side if you want to. But it snaps in there. I don't know if you heard that or not,
Yes, I
but it
did.
snaps in there and you can just pop it off. And this is just a nice little Scandi grind. No, it's not a Scandi grind. This is actually the stainless steel version. But this is just a phenomenal little camping knife,
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal little pocket knife that you can actually do. I'm a huge fan of these small fixed blades now
Yeah.
that are carry on a daily basis you can carry with you. And
Mm.
this is one of those ones that I just highly recommend. The price has gone up a little bit. They used to only be 1998.
Uh-huh.
Now they're up to 24.97. So I guess people are buying these. This is a very good small little knife. This would be an excellent knife for your young son or daughter. This would be an excellent first knife for them because it doesn't
Mm.
fold. It doesn't. There's no locking mechanism or anything like that. You
Yeah.
go out on a camping trip, you go out on some type of hunting trip or something like that. This would be an excellent, excellent knife for that. The package actually comes. I didn't show you, but it actually comes with a little fire starter, and so you've got a
Ah.
little fire starter that you can use. You usually use the back of the knife for that right here,
Mm-hmm.
and you would actually just shave those things out. It works out really, really well. So for $25,
Yeah.
this is a very good value, incredibly good value. And I had people go nuts over this knife. They love it.
Cool. All right. That's good stuff. It's nice to have hobbies, right? A little something.
It is. It's
Little
almost
something on the
essential.
side. Yeah, it is. It really is. And a lot of these things, they can be useful, but they can also be things we can nerd out on a little bit, and makes it fun. Makes it fun to use, fun to come to work and play with the toys, but also know that those toys we're playing with help us get important things done. And that's what you've helped us do today. That's the complete list of links that you've sent along, and we threw in a few extra things as well. We've nerded out about AirPods and Apple Watches and the chargers and all of that good stuff as well. Again, links, thelightnetwork.tv. Go if you want to know more about Chad's Everyday Carry channel. You can find that over at Landman EDC. Cool. Yeah.
Thank you, Robert.
Look, I see this now. This is nice. I'm pulling. Sorry, I was supposed to be hosting a show, but instead I'm looking at YouTube. So
I really had some success with some early videos on that. And again, this is just my side hobby.
yeah.
I don't make hardly any money off of this.
Yeah, sure.
But it is very,
Just
very
something
fun.
fun.
I've
I
gotten to
like
go
the
to,
thumbnail on this one. This is good.
yeah, you like that one?
You're
You
wearing
like
a
that one?
headlamp. This is nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the
And
little
people, a lot of companies have gotten in touch and they send me some really good quality stuff. And so,
fun.
you might see some of these items on some of those other videos as well. Just
Mm-hmm.
saying.
Okay. Cool. Well, we'll put a link to that as well. Hey,
Thank
if you're
you.
ever in Columbia, Tennessee, go by and visit the great folks at the Gray Mirror Church of Christ, and you just might find Chad there unless he's somewhere in the country talking about digital parenting.
Well, that's only about 3 or 4 weekends a year.
Oh,
I'm
good.
here
You are
all the
there.
time.
You are
Yes, sir.
there. Good. Very good. Well, we appreciate you, Chad. Thanks for keeping us in the know about some stuff that might be good for us. And, some of this may be coming under a tree near you if you share this podcast with the right people. Put it on the Amazon list and let them know. All right. Hey, next week we're going back to our regular programming, but we do this once a year. It is fun to kind of just talk about some stuff and maybe find a few things that could upgrade our game a little bit and help us out. Maybe literally help us play a game. We could do that too. So that's
There you
always
go.
good. You can find us every Thursday from thelightnetwork.tv or from our podcast partners. Hit the subscribe or follow button so you never miss an episode. And we're also, of course, available on YouTube. Search for The Light Network or Preachers in Training so that you can find us there. It's going to do it for this edition of Preachers in Training. Love to hear from you. Preachers at thelightnetwork.tv is how you can get in touch with me. Until next time, let's go preach the word.